is my vow. All gods will die.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst things Gorr the God Butcher has done.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves.
For this list, we're looking at the most heinous misdeeds this supervillain has gotten away with during his dark history. Which of these crimes shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Cruelly punishing one of Thor's Warriors 3 for stealing bread. Before becoming known as a butcher, Gorr was a mortal being who spent most days hungry, weak, and cursing gods for not helping him. After he gained powers from the powerful all-black weapon, he made it his mission to slaughter and harm every deity possible. One of Gorr's many victims was Volstagg of the Warriors 3. After Thor's former ally was captured by the villain, the Asgardian was given barely any food. When a desperate Volstagg finally took bread from Gorr, the warrior was brutally punished.
Stole a loaf of bread. My sister's child was close to death. We were starving.
You'll starve again.
Making someone endure hunger after knowing what it felt like was needlessly cruel. To add insult to injury, Gorr mortally wounds Volstagg after the warrior makes him angry.
Who are you? What have you done with Thor?
Number 9. Making Thor Feel Unworthy.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
When Gorr's not inflicting physical pain, he enjoys messing with people's minds. He particularly enjoyed getting inside Thor's head most of all. During their numerous encounters, Gorr constantly told the God of Thunder that every deity was selfish and undeserving of their power.
You're unworthy of your title! You're unworthy!
The supervillain's philosophy shakes Thor so much that he becomes unworthy to lift Mjolnir after he hears the phrase Gorr was right from his ally Nick Fury. It takes the Asgardian a ton of effort and time before he's able to wield the hammer again. Even when Gorr is nowhere near him, Thor still grapples with the mental scars the Butcher left behind.
All right, show's over. Ground units move in.
Number 8. Slaying and betraying time gods. Gorr eventually decides that the best way to accomplish his twisted dreams is to travel through time.
I believe the most likely outcome will be our collective demise.
Not if we strictly follow the rules of time travel.
Instead of building a fancy machine, he decides to use an extremely sickening method. Gorr discovers that he needs a small amount of blood from a peaceful group of time gods to accomplish his goals. However, he goes overboard and takes a lot more.
Just a prick of the finger, a few drops of blood.
No mistakes this time. He's only half-turner. We spill it all!
After butchering all but one time god, Gorr seemingly promises to spare the last survivor. But the supervillain later returns and ends the last time god, long after these peaceful deities were unjustly punished just for existing. Time travel ironically led to Gorr's ultimate downfall.
What happened? You mess with time, it tends to mess back. You'll see.
Number 7. Tormenting a young Thor for over 2 weeks. Shortly after a youthful and arrogant God of Thunder defeats ice giants, he follows a trail of deceased deities until he finds the Butcher.
Thor, stop and think. Look around you, we're outnumbered.
Know your place, brother.
Although Thor barely survives the battle by summoning a bolt of lightning, he is unwilling to let the villain get away with his crimes. The Asgardian eventually finds Gorr hiding out in a cave. Unfortunately, the supervillain catches Thor and puts him in chains.
That's when I came across a path of death and destruction, which led me all the way here into this cage.
The Prince of Asgard is physically and mentally tormented for 17 days straight without any relief. Fortunately, his anguish ends when warriors arrive to help the god break free. Over 1,000 years later, Thor's memories of Gorr's punishment continued to haunt the hero.
You say that?
Yeah, we don't actually say that name in here.
Number 6. Enslaving Countless Gods. Not every deity died right after encountering one of Thor's greatest enemies. As part of a larger scheme, Gorr captures and forces an unknown number of gods to work for him.
As punishment, I was forced to be in here and become a gladiator.
Any deity that defies him is either tormented or slain. But Gorr doesn't just stop at the gods that live within his time period. At one point, he sends his warriors to the past, retrieves a younger Thor, and forces the Asgardian to work for him too. Gorr's actions are especially cruel because of his timing.
Wait, you're not gonna face him, are you?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna fight him, win, and get the hell out of this place.
From the young Thor's perspective, he was recaptured by the villain just 8 days after his torment ended. It's easy to understand why this version of the Asgardian was the one who beheaded Gorr in the end.
What did you do?
I went for the head.
Number 5. Mortally wounding his wife. At some point during Gorr's violent spree across the cosmos, he gained a very big pet peeve. He absolutely detested being referred to as a god. Gorr would instantly lose control anytime he heard the word.
All it would have been was words, hot air from a buffoon. Instead, you let him roil you into playing his game.
Unfortunately, not even his loved ones were immune to his wrath. When Gorr's wife attempts to praise him by calling him a god, he immediately takes her life. But the most twisted part of this crime lies in her origin. It turns out that Gorr used the All Black to bring this version of her to life. Although this creation is essentially a part of him, he wasn't willing to let her live just because she said a word he didn't like.
No.
Number 4. Forcing a god to witness horrible crimes.
It seemed a bit crazy to me, but I let them get on with what they wanted to get on with.
During Thor's journey to stop his old nemesis, he travels back to the cave where he was once tormented. He's shocked to discover a terrified god of bombs named Shadrach is still alive there. The shaken deity reveals that he can no longer physically close his eyes due to Gorr's cruel actions. After the Butcher committed this despicable act, the villain forced Shadrach to witness other gods being tormented and slain.
You're going to die for that.
Making the terrified deity witness his brethren suffer and die would have been cruel enough. However, Gorr also made Shadrach help him build a weapon that threatened to upset the balance of the entire universe. We don't blame the god of bombs for wanting to stay as far away from the Butcher as possible.
And even if I tried to move my glass balls about, I still could not get out of the line of fire of this picture.
Number 3. Trapping Thor in a never-ending nightmare for centuries. In the distant future, a one-eyed Thor was ruling over Asgard as its king. Suddenly, Gorr arrived and ruined everything. The Butcher and his army made sure that every Asgardian that was willing to fight the villain was slain or captured, except for Thor.
No resurrections this time.
Gorr made sure that the God of Thunder was the only one left alive in his kingdom. To ensure Thor continued to suffer, the Butcher made his army bring the Asgardian king to the brink of death every single day. But Gorr didn't allow the hero to die.
How the hell is this dude still alive? He is not a dude. You're a dude.
King Thor was trapped in this endless hell for around 900 years. Despite suffering at the Butcher's hands for centuries, the grieving king was still willing to fight Gorr when the time came.
And what if you're wrong?
Well, if I'm wrong, then what more could I lose?
Number 2. Butchering deities for a last-minute power boost. The secret to Gorr's overwhelming power lies in the All Black's most dangerous ability. Every time the Butcher slayed a god, he became stronger.
They gave Noel the power to destroy nearly every celestial, forcing the rest to flee to the farthest reaches of space.
Gorr pushed this frightening ability to the limits during a pivotal battle. When 3 Thors teamed up to put a permanent end to the Butcher, the desperate supervillain decided to slay as many gods as he could.
What are they doing? Stealing souls to feed the dweller in darkness. If it grows strong enough, it will break right through the gate. That was just the beginning.
He cuts down tons of deities in a short time just to try and get an edge over the Asgardians. The worst part of Gorr's heinous strategy is that it ends up being completely pointless. Since the villain ultimately loses the battle, all the gods he took out died for no reason. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Detonating the God Bomb.
Pain, panic. Got a little riddle for you. How do you kill a god?
Although Gorr would have continued to slay gods one by one, he decided to speed up the process by forcing the deities he enslaved to build a giant weapon. The appropriately titled God Bomb was made to kill divine beings while leaving mortals alive. And thanks to its intricate design, it had the power to eliminate every god that ever lived at any point in time. It was sickening that Gorr made captive deities build the tool of their own destruction. The only reason the supervillain didn't succeed was because Thor absorbed the God Bomb's power at the last second. But if the Asgardian had not intervened, all the gods that ever existed would have become Gorr's final victims.
You are not like the other gods of kill. Because I have something worth fighting for.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.